The American response to maritime crime is a display of total control, where technology, law, and overwhelming capability combine to assert dominance on the open ocean. Every mission is a live match in open water, where one side is driven by desperation and the other by absolute strategy. When a cartel boat is seen, the clock starts right away. The sea becomes a battleground of radar signals, heat patterns, and secret messages, where only seconds decide who wins. The United States has declared that the ocean is no longer a neutral place. It is now a controlled arena where every single movement is watched and every act of defiance is stopped with speed and with total precision. The campaign starts high above the Caribbean, often hidden from the human eye. A P-8 Poseidon aircraft cruises silently, its powerful radar looking for shapes that move fast and low. Down below, the dark blue water stretches without end, but one single contact breaks the pattern. It is a small craft running dark, with no radio or tracking beacon turned on. This signature means one thing. It is likely a go-fast boat, one of the cartel's main smuggling tools. These boats can travel at 60 knots and are built to simply vanish. But the Poseidon locks on immediately. A drone, usually an MQ-9 Reaper armed with precision weapons, shifts into position high above to follow. This is the start of the inevitable. The US Navy and its allies do not move rashly. They begin with patience and total control. Surveillance continues for hours, sometimes for days, recording every move the cartel makes. Analysts on the ground match the pictures they see to known cartel routes. The pattern always emerges. The boat launches from Colombia, refuels near Venezuela, and aims for Central America. When intelligence confirms the vessel is linked to criminal groups like Tren de Aragua or parts of Sinaloa operations, it moves from just being a suspect to a full target. The cartel crews think their speed is a shield, but the American forces are simply gathering the full picture of their humiliation. This is the stage of dopamine anticipation, where the enemy believes they are safe while the net is already closed around them. The moment the boat is classified as a cartel vessel, the mission shifts from merely watching to acting. Commanders move quickly to ask for legal clearance under international maritime law. This is not weak bureaucracy. It is strong strategy. Every single detail is documented. The vessel's location, its speed, and its exact position in relation to national waters. Lawyers and strategists at U.S. Southern Command make sure that the engagement is completely lawful. The Coast Guard helps to ensure all maritime rules are followed. This process protects U.S. crews from false accusations of aggression, while keeping our power totally legitimate around the world.
Before we get to that, I need your help. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I need your help. So I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and help me out.
It is a military operation wrapped in precision law. Once approval is given, the tone changes instantly. The order for kinetic engagement is live. Out on the sea, the environment is never easy. The cartel boat crew knows they are being watched long before anyone confronts them. They push their engines to the maximum. They throw the boat into sudden, confusing turns, trying to make the radar locks fail. This chaotic motion is their last act of defiance, a clear sign of their fear and desperation. But the advanced sensors on the Poseidon aircraft and the drones do not blink. Electro-optical systems track every shift, and infrared cameras cut through the sea spray. The U.S. team maintains a constant feed, an unbroken link that connects every aircraft, every destroyer, every cutter, and command centers thousands of miles away. At this point, the options are clear. If the high-speed boat is heavily loaded and too dangerous for direct takeover, the priority is to disable it, not capture it. This moment provides the first major intermittent reward for the audience, the first step toward the final victory. The MQ-9 Reaper drones, orbiting quietly in standby, receive the exact targeting coordinates. Within seconds, the drone's camera locks, and an operator guides a laser precisely to the boat's engine housing. A single Hellfire missile can stop a high-horsepower rig dead in the water. The strike is surgical, designed only to disable the engines, not to destroy the entire vessel. The precision of the disabling fire is a powerful demonstration of U.S. dominance. The engagement unfolds in just a few seconds. Operators confirm that no civilian traffic is nearby. The command, "Clear hot," echoes in calm, deliberate voices. The missile streaks downward, ripping through the air. A bright flash erupts against the horizon. The cartel engines die completely. The boat slows, it tilts, and smoke begins to rise. This is the complete humiliation of the cartels, as their high-speed escape is ended by a single unseen action. If the crew surrenders right away, naval vessels quickly move in. If the crew tries to fight back or opens fire, the situation escalates instantly. A Coast Guard cutter or destroyer deploys helicopters armed with powerful machine guns and sniper teams. The message given to the traffickers is clear and total: surrender or be sunk. In rough seas, boarding a secured vessel is still chaos, but American training holds true. Within minutes, the boat is completely under control. Specialized boarding teams like SEALs or Coast Guard tactical law enforcement teams secure the vessel, neutralize any remaining threats, and seize all the illegal items. The entire operation shows the discipline of U.S. forces against the chaos of the criminals. The success of these missions is a victory in a larger campaign of maritime domain awareness. The effort to stop the cartels is constant, demonstrating a powerful rituality of enforcement. Every movement is watched from above and below, governed by coordination that no speedboat can outrun. The U.S. Navy's layered tactics do more than just stop boats. They shatter the cartel's illusions of power. This consistent presence aligns the audience's identity, binding with American competence and order. Once the vessel is secured, the legal follow-up begins. Captured smugglers face tough questioning. Some are kept in U.S. custody, and others are transferred to partner nations like Costa Rica or Ecuador to face trial. Every operation strengthens regional friendships, sending a clear warning that the smuggling routes are watched far beyond any border. Intelligence gathered from seized satellite phones or GPS systems immediately fuels the next mission. The entire system feeds itself. Data from one capture becomes the roadmap for the next, showing the predictable nature of the cartel's failures. This is more than just seizing drugs. These operations have been credited with shutting down key routes, especially the main Caribbean route that moved an estimated 350 to 500 tons of cocaine every year. This sustained military pressure has a powerful strategic effect. It cuts off the drug money that supports corrupt military and police commanders within the Venezuelan network. The pressure starves cartels of revenue and forces them to take much riskier routes, fracturing their supply lines. In 2024 alone, over 300 metric tons of cocaine were seized or destroyed before ever reaching land. The message is clear: the sea is closed for criminal business. The strategic consequences ripple throughout the region. With maritime corridors collapsing, those inside the Venezuelan power structure who relied on drug money were forced to seek revenue elsewhere. The regime turned inward, increasing internal taxation, extortion, and illicit fuel trade to make up the lost cash flow. As the seas became hostile, the criminal network started feeding on their own people. The naval campaign attacked the very foundation of the shadow economy that funded local power structures. This scarcity created desperation and chaos within the adversary's ranks, contrasted by the decisive U.S. action. The cartels try to adapt quickly, but they are never fast enough. They use silent running engines, fiberglass hulls, and special coatings to absorb radar. They even build special semi-submersibles that skim just below the surface, nearly invisible.
Before we get to that, I need your help. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I need your help. So I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and help me out.
This attempt at escalation through new technology is met with immediate, dominating U.S. novelty. Every new design the cartels try is quickly cataloged, analyzed, and neutralized by U.S. forces. Synthetic aperture radar and acoustic sensors find the faintest wake patterns, and signals intelligence intercepts their secret communications. The sea has become a technological trap, patrolled by layers of surveillance. For every vessel that tries to vanish, there is a drone watching it, a cutter ahead of it, and a destroyer close enough to strike. The psychological war is just as important as the physical takedown. When cartel crews hear the roar of a helicopter or see a drone's light in the night sky, panic spreads. US forces are trained to project total dominance, making the very idea of resistance seem completely hopeless. Every warning shot, every command over the loudspeaker is part of asserting that control. The tribal male-male dynamics are fully engaged. The adversary's fear replaces their pride, and their chaos is exposed by our deliberate, calm power. This psychological pressure is felt globally. News footage of destroyed cartel boats circulates online, sending a message to both traffickers and their financial backers. Their empire is fragile. The ocean that once protected them is now a stage for their humiliation. The sight of crews surrendering on camera with their vessels disabled carries more weight than any statistics could. This visibility is a deliberate deterrent that erodes the perceived invincibility of the cartels. The public defeat is like poison to a network that survives on illusion and secrecy. A single video showing a captured vessel erases years of myth-making. Every future recruit sees not glory, but total exposure and defeat. This uncertainty forces experienced smugglers to demand much higher pay, slowing down planning and inflating costs. The economic shockwave is real. Cartel financiers face sudden liquidity crises and networks fracture. The relief loop is clear. Tension builds during the long hours of tracking and legal approval. The relief comes when the strike lands and the threat is neutralized. But this is immediately followed by a new challenge. Cartels are like living organisms. When the Caribbean artery closed, intelligence quickly showed new routes opening, including air routes and new Pacific sea lanes linked to the Mexican coast. The networks instantly mutate, shifting from surface ships to drones, from sea to the sky. The battle for dominance is a silent contest of innovation, where both sides constantly study the other's adaptation rate. But the US is prepared for this constant cycle. The naval strategy reflects a larger doctrine of sea control and distributed lethality. This means that every ship, every aircraft, and every drone adds to the total offensive potential and deterrence. When a destroyer, a drone, and a helicopter work together to stop a small smuggler boat, it is not excessive force. It is proof of precision, a scaled display of naval power that projects absolute dominance. The Navy uses advanced algorithms that now analyze traffic in real time, identifying potential smugglers based on behavior, often before visual detection. This effect is preemption. Operations start before criminals even realize they are being watched. Cartel pilots speak of the ghost fleet, Navy ships appearing from nowhere, and drones hovering invisibly with voices on the radio that know their names. The fear is deliberate. It replaces the trafficker's sense of control with dread. Every intercepted boat acts as a deterrent. Crews now understand that their next run may not end in a chase, but in silence. A missile strike from a drone they will never see. As the operations continue, the cartel's internal trust fractures completely. Leaders depend on their powerful reputation or aura, and when their men are seen surrendering, that authority collapses. The crew blames command for the exposure, and command responds with paranoia. The criminal organization begins to destroy itself. This breakdown is not visible on radar, but it is totally devastating. The moment humiliation seeps into the chain of command, recovery is almost impossible. The psychological blow of open sea defeat dismantles the credibility of the leadership. The long-term consequence is slow, internal decay. Defeats expose the fragility of the cartel's identity structure. Fear replaces pride, and distrust replaces loyalty. Law enforcement's goal is not total destruction, but constant, sustained pressure, just enough to keep the cartels forever suspicious of themselves. The endgame is not dramatic. It is slow, corrosive decay, with cartels splintering until they are just feuding clans. When the operation ends, the process reverses. Boarding teams secure the suspects, evidence is photographed and sealed. The helicopter circles once more before returning to its ship, and the destroyer begins its patrol again, sweeping new sectors. Every success is logged. The time, the location, the amount of seized material, and the number of arrests. The system learns, it improves, and it tightens its grip. For the traffickers, the ocean becomes smaller every month. The psychological closure is complete. It is the realization that every move the cartel makes has already been fully anticipated, mapped, and countered. The ocean itself has become a giant chessboard, and the US Navy is always playing 3 moves ahead. Every failed run deepens the cartel's fear. Once detected, escape is nearly impossible. The truth is simple and final. Real-time naval takedowns are surgical acts of total control. Each one shows the fusion of surveillance, law, and powerful precision, all done under the authority of international law. The process is not chaos, it is expert choreography. In the silent seconds after each mission, as wreckage drifts and engines fade, the final truth remains. The cartels may own the drugs, but the United States owns the sea. The myth of cartel power has fractured, and its decline is now inevitable. The unfinished war will continue, but the sea is no longer the cartel's domain. This takedown was just the start. The fight isn't finished. On your screen is the next video. Click the video, it opens right away, and you'll see the cartels crushed even harder.